Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, there you go. I can hear you too. What's going on, big homie?
I'm good, man. I just wanted to stop by real fast and give you your flowers. I'm on my
Oh
way
man.
home.
Oh man, I appreciate that, bro.
You don't have too many people that are actively inboxing that are giving out proper information. Like a lot of guys want to act like they're in the back rooms or act like they have sources, but the reality is they full of shit. And you're a guy who's active in managing fighters, and you are active USA boxing official. So you're really in the trenches of boxing, and I don't think you get your credit for you know giving giving jewels to people about how the sport is really ran and what really goes on, especially in the back rooms, but the inner workings of boxing in general. And like I said, you don't get your credit, and I just want to let you know that I appreciate
Hey man, thank you so much, man. That means a lot coming from you, YSM. I mean, you are part of the reason that people know who I am on YouTube, and that's because you have done a tremendous job with conducting great interviews. All your interviews are great, including the interviews you have done and conducted with me. And you made people basically recognize who I am and the contributions I've made to the sport of boxing. And I want to say thank you and give you your flowers as you are giving me my flowers, my brother. I appreciate that. I
you.
don't
Man,
hear this.
you give me flowers all the time, man. I'm giving you your flowers today, man.
All right, you got it. I like to, I like to make sure I'm staying humble, bro. I'll accept it without any any responses, bro.
No, bro, you get a lot of shit. You get a lot of shit because honestly, people don't want to hear the truth. They want to hear confirmation bias. And there's a certain fan base, a certain group of people that are really critical of you. But the reality is, when they look at the fighter that they like, they're looking at them through rose-colored glasses. But that may not always be reality.
Yeah.
And just having come to grips with that fact that nobody's perfect, and even a guy who is as successful and as talented as this particular guy, he has his faults, just like any other human being.
Yeah, that's true. But when you say a particular fan base, I don't want to assume, but I think that you are referring to.
Terence Crawford fans, man. Terence Crawford fans, they get, they like you get a lot of flack from them, and you know some things that you've said I feel like is unfair, and me and you have talked about that. But for the most part, you are really spot on, and you are neutral in your coverage of the negotiations of Terence Crawford and Earl Spence.
Yep, totally agree. I think a lot of Terrence Crawford fans forget how neutral I am. I'm the same guy and probably the only guy on YouTube that I know of as far as content creator or anybody in the business, meaning actively in the sport of boxing. When I was asked a question by one of the panelists, what do I think Errol Spence should do? This is before um, Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence fought. I can roll the tape back on myself, and they asked me, what do I think Errol Spence should do if this fight don't materialize? And the thing that I said is, if this fight don't materialize, Errol Spence Jr. should leave Terrence Crawford where he's at and walk away because he looks like he don't want to fight him. This is right at the time where the dates kept being misannounced over and over again when I said that. And that was my advice because at some point, if he's not going to leverage his A side, meaning Errol Spence, it makes absolutely no sense to go into a negotiation where you have to get finessed and basically acquiesce to all of the demands of Terrence Crawford when he's not showing signs that he really want to fight. So if this is the case, and if boxing representation is telling Spence to just leave the guy alone and let's move on, that's what I think he should do. Of course, Errol Spence did not do that. Once the fight was officially announced, we found out that he was finessed in the negotiations. And basically, he had to empty all his pockets with rabbit ears, and they flipped him upside down, and he basically became the B-side by acquiescing to all of Terence Crawford's
Yes.
demands. So a lot of Terence Crawford fans won't even give me credence for that. In fact, a lot of Terence Crawford fans have yet to give me credence and credibility and credit, which I'm not looking for any affirmation. But I'm just saying, piggybacking off of your point, they haven't even given me credit for being the only person on YouTube actively involved in the business as a content creator. When I went on your platform, when you first interviewed me the first couple of times, and I said what Terence Crawford needed to do to secure the biggest fight, not just in his career, but the biggest fight where he can generate the biggest revenue opportunity for him and his family. And sure enough, I have yet to hear a Terence Crawford fan yet come back and say, Manager Marty, you know what? You were right, because Terence Bud Crawford did the 2 out of 3 things that I said he should do. And the fight actually happened. And not only that, but those same fans have come on this panel, in my chat, in my comment section, even in your comment section on your channel and platform, and have basically criticized me and told me to apologize, all because Terence Crawford won. But the same people that wanted me to acknowledge that I was so-called, quote-unquote, wrong for thinking Errol Spence would win this fight was not going to give me any credit or come back and tell me I was right when I said Terence Crawford needed to do A, B, and C to secure this fight. It's amazing to me.
Yep. The thing that's amazing is that Terence Crawford's fans, they spent months no guarantee money. It was a horrible you trying to jerk Terence Crawford. And,
you sound like
him was being unfair and this.
YSM, you were sounding like you were going in and out. Say it again, YSM. You sound like
you hear me?
Go ahead. Very perfect. I can hear you loud and clear.
What I'm saying is, Terence Crawford spent months talking about how 5% wasn't a good deal, how they were trying to fuck Terence Crawford, how they were giving him a good deal, they didn't want to fight. Only for later to admit a percentage deal is guaranteed money. All you
I'm sorry, y'all. We had some technical difficulties with YSM Sports Media. I'm sure he'll be back. What I was hearing him say, even though it was choppy, was that Terence Crawford fans basically didn't come back and acknowledge the fact that Terence Crawford himself had acknowledged in recent interviews that that even though on IG Live back in November of 2022, where Terence Crawford was saying that Al Heyman was trying to F him out of a deal, and the deal was so crappy that, you know, all of the terms were favorable to Errol Spence because the deal was just so lopsided. Terence Crawford himself came back after the fight and basically understood the importance of the difference between a guaranteed purse and a percentage on the back end. And that's what I thought I was listening to what YSM Sports Media was just saying. I'm not speaking for him, but it sounded like that's what I was hearing him say, even though the audio was choppy. While we're waiting for YSM Sports Media to come back, I would like to do our Town Watch check-in as the viewership is increasing exponentially.